When it comes to relationships and divorce, here's, and I can just be honest with y'all because we're friends, right? And you're learning, I'm learning. The relationships that are formed during marriage have to have some sort of renegotiation. I built a life with another person. All of our friends were our friends. I chose not to develop friendships and relationships outside because when was I going to have the time? Number one, I was too busy helping run a business, be a leader in the church. I had 1, 2, 3 children. So all of our friends were our friends. And the moment that our marriage ended and we divorced, it felt like people felt like they had to choose a side. And only people who have been divorced really know what this is like, but people feel like they have to choose a side. And here's what I want you to know. You don't have to choose a side. If you are friends with a husband and a wife, and that husband and wife decide not to be married anymore, the inclination is, I don't want to get involved. I don't want any problems. We go where we think there's a power differential. So whoever is the more powerful person, whoever has the most money, whoever seems like they're going to be the one that gets the sympathy, whatever the story is that we believe, there are two people. And when you choose one over the other, it makes one person feel bad. It may not even be your intention. You may think, well, I just don't know what to say. I just don't know what to do. I just don't want to get involved. You're involved. So in hindsight, a lesson that I've learned, and I am applying this with all people that I know in relationship, communicate. You can tell a person that, hey, I'm friends with you and I'm friends with you, and I don't know how to feel. I don't know what I should do. That's still letting a person know you're aware. For me, I felt like I didn't have that opportunity to say goodbye to people that I have loved and spent time with and traveled the world with. It was like they were there one day and the next day they were gone. And they might have sent a text message that says, I'm sorry, or praying for you, but that was it. People in divorce need support. They need to know that you support them, that you love them, and that you're there for them in words and in tangible ways. Similar to a death. When people die, you tell them, I'm so sorry for your loss, and you really mean it, but you also send some food. You stop by the family home. You send a card, a condolence letter. You send something that says, beyond my words, this is how I want to be here for you. It's so important and critical. You know why? Because every single time when I reflect back over this last year, I know who was there and I know who was not there. And I could never unsee that. I'm thankful that I'm here today. But what would it have been to have felt supported by people that I have loved and supported? You don't have to choose a side. You can be a good friend to two people, even if they're not in a relationship. And if you don't feel comfortable, you should say that. I don't know what to do. I knew this person from college. I met you through him. And so I don't know how this affects our relationship, but I'm communicating. At least lets the person know that you're struggling and wrestling through it together. If you're friends with two people that are married and they decide to no longer be married, decide in your heart how you want to pursue a relationship with both people. It is important to let both people know how you feel about them. This is the time. This is not the time to say, I don't want to get into it. It's not the time to tell both of them how you love both of them. Look that person in the eye, make time to be with them and say, hey, I love you. This is what I valued about our friendship. This is what I appreciate about you. I know that this divorce will change things for all of us. But here's what I want you to know, that I look forward to building a new relationship with you as an individual. Do you know how I would have loved to hear that? Do you know how that would have brightened my day for somebody to say, I care about you? Not I care about the both of you. That's great. But when I was all alone in the darkest place of my entire life, there were points in my journey where it got so dark that I thought death was the only way out because of what I was experiencing. And for a person that I have known to come to me and tell me how they appreciate me, how they love me, how they value me, would have felt like rivers of running water in a desert. You don't know how impactful your presence or your absence is in the life of somebody who's going through a god-awful experience. What happens is we hear the story of one person, we don't hear the story of another person, or we hear two different sides of the story and we don't know which one to believe, or we believe one person. None of this matters to me. What matters to me is that we're humans. We have a heart and a soul. And there are things that you will never know that are going on in people's relationships that affect what's happening in their lives. I will never unlearn what I have learned. It has taught me how to be a better person, how to be graceful, how to listen and believe people when they tell me what they tell me. It's taught me compassion because unfortunately, I had thousands of people in my life. I was on the stage, I was giving my gifts, I was being affirmed and praised for years and years and years. And it was like one decision and all of it stopped. And it stopped immediately. And if it wasn't for the strangers, the people I have never met, I don't know if I would be here today. How you handle people in divorce is very important. It can make or break someone. Luckily, I learned what I was made out of, and it didn't take me over. But were there moments in my journey that I thought the only way to get rid of this pain would be to go to heaven? I did. I absolutely did. And I didn't just keep it to myself. I called my family. I said, listen, it's too much. It's too much. It's just too much. I just want to be free. I just want to be free of all of it. The lesson that I've learned is when you're in a relationship with people, give them the dignity of communication. Another life lesson that I've learned is you can't cheat the system. I thought that I could build a life from the outside in. Well, if I just have the right house and the right car, and if I just say the right things and I marry the right person, or maybe if I just think the right thoughts or be the best person that I could be to everyone, then that will equal happiness. No, the only way to truly have joy and peace and love and happiness is for it to come from within. At this point, it's been about a year and a half or a year and some change. I lost count. But being alone has taught me a lot. And it has grown me and matured me as a woman. And I don't think there's anything else that could have done this in this way. But it actually gave me what I wanted all along. I wanted to be a person, a soul, have my output, what I want to give to the world. To feel peace and joy and happiness in a room, no stage, no performer, nobody liking, sharing, commenting. If everybody disappeared, if this whole world fell away, I know how to find perfect peace because I lost it all and had to figure this out step by step, one by one, brick by brick. What does it look like to look in the mirror and respect who you see? What does it look like to affirm yourself? What does it look like to say to yourself, I appreciate you? I had to do it. So in some ways, this divorce experience brought a tremendous amount of pain. And in some ways, it brought a tremendous amount of joy and peace and love and all the things because I found the woman that I was in search for all along. Finally found her. And it has been the most amazing experience in my entire life. I'm still learning, still growing. We got a lot to talk about, but at this moment here and at this moment right now, me and you sitting in this room, having this conversation, I'm very thankful that everything happened the way it happened. I appreciate every single moment from being 20 years old, a leader in the church, spending the last 22 years with one person, all of it, my kids, Rain going through what she went through, and my dad having his experience and feeling burnt out. I am so thankful for all that has happened, the end of my marriage, because all of this taught me and brought me to this moment right here. So if you have been divorced or you've been at the end of a relationship, let me know in the comments your experience. And if you haven't already, please subscribe, hit the notification bell so you are aware whenever we release new videos.